Welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror movie and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 2004's Club Dread, which was directed by Jay Chandrasekhar, or Broken Lizard. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Erik. Yeah, Broken Lizard. I just say that.
Yeah, I guess Jay, he's the one that actually is the director, but it's a collaborative effort.
Which one's Jay out of them?
Putman in this one. He's the one that has the hair. He directed Super Troopers and I believe Beer Fest. So I think he's like their director of the team or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they
That's
all
cool.
write it together. They all act together. I'm sure it's a group effort.
A big collab for sure. You feel it, like these guys have fun making this stuff.
Dude, I love Broken Lizard. Like they're amazing. They're like what everybody dreams of being. It's like you meet a bunch of guys in college, you form an improv troupe, and then like literally from that point forward, you just go off and make movies, and that's your life. Like that's the dream.
That is the dream for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, they made Puddle Cruiser, which I bought years ago, and it's okay, it's all right, but whatever. That was their first movie.
Yeah, there's rugby in that movie. I remember you showed me that one. That one was okay, but that's like as low a budget as it can get.
That's their Mission Impossible, basically.
Yeah.
So it's okay. But then Super Troopers obviously comes out in 2001, and that put these guys into stardom.
Yeah, and they had somewhat of a budget for that. I don't remember, but this one clearly has a budget. I mean, you got boats, murder, all this gore, huge party, all these extras.
Bill Paxton.
Freaking Bill Paxton. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like about Broken Lizard 2 is they always find one big celebrity for each of their movies. Remember, Jesus Christ, Brian Cox. Yeah, Brian Cox is the sergeant or whatever.
And he's not in it a lot. I feel like they probably filmed all Brian Cox's scenes in 2 days,
Well, think about it if we were making a movie. Like, dude, we got Brian Cox or we got Bill Paxton. Like, dude, he's our Donald Pleasance in this. Like, we just got to get him in, get him out.
Yeah, not waste his time. Get him his trailer.
Yeah.
Get him his peanuts, unsalted.
So this is...
What's that called? What's that list called when someone wants a list? Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, like what they want in the green room or whatever?
Yeah, celebrity. There's a word for it.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
I forgot what it's called. It's going to drive me crazy, dude.
It's a list that the celebrities are like, hey, I want Oreos and IPAs and blah, 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 like Fiji water. And they're like, if I don't have this, I'm not performing.
Yeah, I forgot what the list is called. Sorry, and I'm having trouble with Google right now. But I actually ran for that list for Paul Simon once. He didn't have a ridiculous list or anything, but he was like, I need my Ricolas. And I was like, okay, we'll get your Ricolas.
I mean, that makes sense if a singer to have cough drops,
yeah. Yeah, and we went to 3 stores. A runner, I forgot what it's called, but yeah. It's going to drive me crazy. Sorry, moving on.
Yeah, so this is kind of one of our, it's the first movie of the year that we've covered, but it's comedy horror. And dude, we've watched this movie. I mean, seriously, it's almost 20 years. This is 19 years old, this movie. And
oh, yeah.
I feel like we watched it right when it came out, right?
I watched it for the first time summer going into high school, I believe. And I bought it on DVD when I was in New York City. It was one of my first trips to New York City by myself with the high school choir. And there was a FYE store, and I saw this movie. Whoa, I'm buying this.
And it's rated R, so they're just whatever.
I know. They didn't give a shit.
Yeah, New York City doesn't care at all. Yeah, dude. Because I remember you showing me this movie. I was like, oh, these are all the guys from Super Troopers. And dude, this movie was so good when we were younger. And I thought it was hilarious this time, too.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It brought me back, dude. I haven't seen this movie in probably since high school. I haven't watched it. And I'll tell you this right now. Having a kid and being married and it hits differently. It's like, oh, man.
What do you mean?
Partying and I don't know. It's just funny. Oh man, I remember when I watched this as a high schooler. Oh wow, I can't wait to get to college and do spring break. And now I'm yeah, I can't wait to have a weekend where I can sleep in.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. I was talking to Mike about this, because he's like, hey, we're single, dude. I was like, hey, listen, if things don't work out, Mike, we should just move to an island and work at a resort and have fun. What the hell are we doing?
I would absolutely recommend that. Yes.
Well, because all of these guys are 37, 38 in this movie. And I'm like, wow. So they're just living on an island, getting drunk, having fun with their friends. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
And Bill Paxton. Imagine just getting drunk with Bill Paxton. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so Mike and I actually were driving and talking about this, and I was like, hey, listen, if we both hit 40...
Screw 40. Why don't you just guys say, lowball at 35? 35.
Well, things are going all right for me. I'm saying if things don't go well by 40, I'll be like, all right, let's move to an island and just work at a resort.
Move to an island, working yeah. Well, dude, that's funny. when you talk about like working in a resort, you think of like, okay, there's housekeeping, there's sanitation. When they get to the island, these characters' jobs are like aerobics, water sports, DJ slash drugs, and like tennis. It's like
Yeah.
where are like the like where's the cook?
Well, they show the cooks. Remember when he's
Oh
making
yeah,
the
you're right.
paella and he freaks out? Yeah, but those could have been like funny characters.
Oh, you're right. No, I just think it's funny. Like, what are these jobs? Like, this island's just full of like people that are like, I do tennis.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody is like, yeah, the drugs or the fun police or whatever. Really quick, I'm just reading this, and I wish I had this. Apparently, in 2005, an unrated edition DVD was sold with 15 minutes of extra footage. Whoa,
Huh. Whoa, I gotta find that footage.
interesting. I had no idea about that. I've never seen the extended cut. Ooh.
Hmm.
Anyways, so this is it's kind of like a spoof on I feel like I Know What You Did Last Summer too. Or I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, yeah, that one's good.
And it's got Jack Black and he's got the dreadlocks and stuff and it takes place on an island resort and I was like and that came out I don't know a couple years before this but I feel like that heavily inspired this because even the hook hand guy from I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever he kind of even looks like the Machete Pete or whatever in this one Machete Phil.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, with Jack Black and the dreadlocks, I think that's probably the biggest dead giveaway for sure. And the island resort. We should add that one to the wheel. I haven't seen that in like 20 years.
Yeah, we definitely should. But yeah, so I just thought that this was almost like the scary movie equivalent of like that movie.
Yeah, it has a lot of tie-ins to other films too, like the way it starts with like the Club Dread text coming in, like Friday the 13th.
Mm.
Kind of like it just like kind of like zoom like hits the screen kind of.
It was very 80s, yeah, that like the red font. Yeah, dude. I like the beginning's great too. That's just like every classic slasher movie. It's like you gotta kill right at the front. Like it's two disposable characters or whatever. But I like how they kind of tie them in to later in the movie. They're like, those guys like with their drugs and they said they were gonna have some for me and he like freaks out or whatever. So he mentions that in the beginning or at the end or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, it wasn't the drugs, but that was totally uncool." Like,
Yeah. So I don't know. I like that, but I always remember you really loving a couple of the lines from the beginning of the movie when the guy's like, "He'll be picking the shit out of my teeth," or whatever.
this guy's gonna be picking his teeth out of my dump. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. I'm like, try to picture picking his teeth out of my dump. I have to ingest his teeth after knocking them out. I don't know, and then he has to like pick it. I don't know. It's just that's the craziest line. When you
Yeah.
break it down, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I always remember you always saying that, and I was like, "What is that line? What is that?"
Yeah, and in high school with I always laughed at the line. Now it's like politically incorrect in some ways, but when they're like kind of like talking about all the women, oh look at her, oh she's a green bikini over there, and then like they kind of hug and like touch each other. He's like, dude, don't be gay, man.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I think it still could fly because it's just like no, we want women, man. It's like that's more of it, like not making fun of gay people, but like, hey, we can't be gay. Like, and you see them having sex at the end of the movie too. Those two guys.
Yeah, they're like dressed up in the outfits or whatever. Oh my god.
So they're gay. I don't know. That's why it's fun. It still holds up, and like it's really not that offensive. If you watch this, I was like, oh man, did they drop the R word? They really don't.
No.
Like they say a few things that's like, but like, dude, it's really not like there's no hard F words. You know what I mean? Like there's no that's so gay. Like there's none of that. That's a high quality, man. You don't see that in a lot of movies from like 2004 that wouldn't offend. I don't think this would offend anyone really.
No, I mean honestly, my favorite line of this whole movie is just the way it's delivered. Is when Juan or whatever, Steve Lemmy, that guy, when he's just like, "What are you, some kind of praying mantis woman or something?" Like that line, just the way he presents it. When you know when Penelope or whatever, Penelope, she's doing
Yeah,
the flips.
you're a gymnast. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be cultural appropriation because I don't think that guy is like.
Erik, I looked him up. His dad
Is he?
Yep, his dad's from Argentina.
Bro, again, making my point. Like this movie is fine. It's
Except-
totally except. There's a
Except,
catch.
so I looked it up too because I was like, I don't think he can be playing a character, but I was like, oh, he actually is. But then, did you ever see Beer Fest?
He plays a Jew. You're right, but that's that. We're not talking about that movie.
That's true. But I was like, oh, because I was like, hey, who did he play in the next movie? So I'm like, I feel like he's the resident, like, hey, you play like whatever you aren't, basically.
Yeah, he's like a spectrum of characters.
Yeah. But anyways.
I don't know. That Beer Fest is great too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that's
No.
horribly offensive, but yeah. I just love his line too. Like, okay, before you jump, make sure to clench your ass cheeks together, or else water will shoot up the butt and pulverize your intestines.
Dude, is that real?
Oh yeah, you know that like big rock we used to jump off of in Niantic or Black Point?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just that was like what 10 feet, and remember feeling your arms and like people got black and blue from that. It might have been 20 feet, but yeah, jumping from like 40 feet, yeah, you're gonna probably at risk something like that happening.
Jesus, yeah. I never even thought about that until I saw this movie. But
Yeah, from a certain height, dude, it's like hitting concrete.
so yeah, well that is funny, but yeah. So I mean, just in case people haven't seen this movie, it's basically just a parody of slasher films. It's about like a club med, like it's like a drinking resort or whatever on a beach. But instead of Jimmy Buffett, there's this guy called Coconut Pete, who's basically just like a Jimmy Buffett ripoff. He's got this resort, and then murders start to happen at the resort, and it's a who done it, who's the murderer, and I mean I remember, obviously, because I've seen this movie a bunch, but like I think they do a pretty good job of you not knowing who it is until the end.
Yeah, I'll say this though, to give a little criticism to this movie. The first like 45, 50 minutes of this movie are great. The last hour it loses me a bit.
Really?
Only because I get kind of annoyed by the amount of like, look at Putman, you know, the octopus, like that's his hair. Oh, what about him? Like Dave, like his dad, like it's just too much of the who done it, like you just said.
Mm.
But like I just got a little like I just want to see more fun, and then they try to figure it out. But like it just got a little over the top with the who done it part, I guess.
Yeah, I guess because it kind of bleeds a little bit too much into like horror at some points where you're like, I thought this was a comedy, but it gets kind of not scary, but it's like I know you did last summer. You're like, who the fuck is this? And you're trying to figure it out the whole time.
Yeah.
So that can make it not funny anymore. So yeah.
Did you
Sure.
did you figure it out? I definitely never. No one would figure it out that it was the
No.
fun police guy.
No, but it is kind of interesting because if you see in the beginning, like the very, very beginning when everybody's getting off the boat, they kind of do like all these red herring sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Where it like freezes on them when something bad happens to them. You're like,
Ooh, could be
oh,
this guy.
yeah.
Could be this guy. Yeah.
So the guy that is the killer, he's the first one that they make you think, oh, is it him? Like, and it is him.
That's a good point. He's not the first one they do that with.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, save me some drugs or whatever. And the guy's like, ha ha, and like walks away. And then all of a sudden, like slow motion, he just like makes a face. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. I also love the Jimmy Buffett stuff that you just mentioned, where he just, when the girl's like drunk, like, play Margaritaville. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you mean Pina Colada Bird. I wrote that song 15 fucking years before Margaritaville was even on the map.
Yeah.
I just love like how Bill Paxton is just nailing lines.
Dude, Bill Paxton is so good in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's the other line. He's like, that does sound like something I'd do 78. Like he just,
In 77. Oh, yeah, teal and blue. Yeah, that does like. Oh,
like,
by the way, wear this sweater.
dude, I love that. And then, the paella thing. He's just like, coconut Pete's paella? You know what the ingredient is? It's like coconut. He's like freaking out. Dude, he's really funny, man.
I always like the, like just watching him drunk and like pouring a shot on his hat and like it goes out into the water. He's just like, farewell.
Dude. Yeah.
Just like so funny. But and also when they're like trying to like really crack down on who's the killer, he's like, all right, I'm time to bring in the big guns. It's like, Hank? And everyone's like, well, Hank, he's like your bodyguard from the 70s.
Well, that guy, dude, what's his name? It's MC Gainey. Dude, he's the guy from, remember Lost and Django and everything like that? You've seen that guy before.
He's in a ton of stuff. Love him.
Dude, I love that actor too. And I love he's like, you always mess with somebody that doesn't know how to fight back. Well, guess what? You just found the one who does. And then immediately gets killed.
Yeah, just immediately dies. I was in Nicaragua or whatever.
Dude, that's so funny. But yeah, so this movie was just, I don't know. It has a special place in my heart. Maybe if I saw it for the first time at this age, I'd be like, it's kind of dumb, but I love it.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, watching it now, like it's still funny, but like, oh man, I'm like, oh, I'm so much older now.
Well, these guys are older than us.
I am a mature, Alec. I am a mature adult.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you can still watch it and be like, this is funny.
I laughed quite a bit.
I don't do any of the things that these guys do. I don't drink or anything, and I'm like, yeah, it's still fun.
Even the beginning of like the like with the guys in the mausoleum, the guy in the mausoleum with the two girls, and like he's like, oh, why don't you like, what do you say, lick my belly button? I forgot what he asked her
Lick
to
my
do.
ear or something like that?
Lick my ear. It's like, what, too waxy? And she's like, no. It's like, oh, it's like, come on, I'm not asking you to eat my crap.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I love that, dude. It's like, oh, come on, Stacy.
Like that's like so beyond like anything.
I think that's the point. They're like, how could we say something that'd be like so ridiculous? Like, dude, you can just tell like this is such just like a passion project. Like these guys are just funny dudes that hang out and they're just like, how can we just make something that's so fun? And that's why I love it. That's why I love Super Troopers. That's why I love this Beer Fest. I mean, all their stuff, dude. It has a real
Yeah,
integrity to their comedy. I feel like.
integrity and a lot of hard work you feel goes into these movies. And have you seen Super Troopers 2?
I saw it right when it came out, and I don't remember it at all.
Was it bad? I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it was like one of those Kickstarter movies.
Yes, it was a Kickstarter movie, and I remember it like got more than its budget within like 24 hours. So people are like, "We need this movie,"
Mm.
but I don't think it did that great. I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't remember it, so I don't want to say it was good or bad.
Yeah, totally different. But like, have they done anything new since Super Trooper 2?
Well, actually, yes. So half of them. So I don't know what happened, but the guy that played Lars, who's Farvra in the Super Troopers, and then the guy that played Juan, they have a show now called Tacoma FD. You ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, dude, you should check it out. I've seen a couple episodes. It's actually funny. I think it's on like True TV. It's on a weird channel, but I think it's on Netflix or something. Or it's on HBO Max right now. Dude, it's got half the cast of Super Troopers and they're firefighters in Washington.
Oh, damn. I've seen that. It's like 10 years old, right?
No, it's fourth season.
Okay. Wow, yeah. No, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and dude, it's actually like pretty funny. Like I've seen a couple episodes. I wish all of them were in it. I kind of wish it was like a Super Troopers TV show, but it's really good to know that they're having success after, all their movies. They're still making stuff and it's going well.
Do you have a favorite part to this movie?
I'm not gonna lie. Anything that Brittany Daniel is in, I'm pretty much on board for. Any scene
Yeah,
she's in,
wow.
she's
Very fit.
she's almost like too fit. It's like she's so hot in this movie, dude.
She like gets progressively like throughout the movie. Like by the end you're like, wow, she's like toned up even more somehow.
Oh, I went down quite a rabbit hole with her last night. She's a twin. I didn't know she's a twin, so I'm like, well, that's nice.
Yeah, she's in Joe Dirte.
Oh yeah, she's Brandy. Yeah, yep. And I also didn't realize she was the lead in that '80s show.
I haven't seen that.
Okay,
No.
so that was it was a spin-off of that '70s show that wasn't very good. She's a cancer survivor,
Wow, okay.
and I don't know if you remember this movie, which I love, and I don't know if anybody can find it ever again, but it's called Totally Awesome, and it's basically a spoof of the '80s, and she's like the bitchy girl in that.
Huh. No, I haven't seen that.
I love that movie, dude. It's a VH1 original movie. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways, so yeah, Brittany Daniel. Any scene she's in, it's my favorite scene. What's your favorite scene there?
I was just gonna say, like, all right, okay, let's move on. God forbid we ask Eric what his favorite scene is.
Oh, what's your favorite scene?
There's a lot, but I would say the two things involve Putman. One is when he steals what's his name's joke and does the "and that boy was me" and does the mangina.
Yep.
I always die laughing, and then like everyone leaves, and it's like, you're such an asshole. Like I love that scene. And I think it's so funny, and that sucks when someone steals your joke. And then the other scene is when he's dying and like they handcuff him to the bed. He's like, "You Piccadilly whore! You mangled me to my deathbed!" I love that scene.
Yeah, I thought you would have loved the scene when Juan is dying and he's like, no, 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 you two kiss.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Oh, I just want one kiss," and she goes in and leans in. He's like, "No, no, 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 you too." Yeah.
Yeah, like especially when he died, I was like, I feel like that's an Eric joke. He's like, I always wanted to see that, and then just dies and floats away.
Yeah, that was like the last good joke of the film too.
Well, this is kind of. Have you ever seen Cannibal the musical, the Trey Parker and Matt Stone movie?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
There's a guy that just like won't die, and they just keep like it's like the pressure goes down. You're like, oh, the murderer's dead, and all of a sudden he just keeps coming back, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. So that was kind of like from that movie, but I like the ending.
You see the feet.
Yeah, it is like his body gets cut in half, and he still is fighting him, and Lars is like, Jesus Christ, man. He's like whipping his body. Like, dude, it's funny.
Yeah, there's one that scene where he's like, "Oh, come on!" Like I loved that reaction too.
Yeah, but honestly, the scene you were talking about earlier with Machete Phil and Machete Phil and he stands up and his dick's not out or whatever. That's right from Friday the 13th Part 2, where they're like around a campfire telling the story of Jason. But I will say, I thought the Machete Phil story was pretty good. Like that's pretty scary if that really did happen to you. You follow a girl out to the woods, you start having sex with her, and you're having sex with a corpse, and everybody's like sees you or whatever. Like that was pretty creepy.
Yeah, it's a good story up until the "Where's my penis?"
Yeah.
Where's my penis?
Then it's like a joke.
No, it is pretty. That's a terrifying idea, though. It's like one of those urban legend stories almost.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like this movie, even though it is primarily a comedy, it definitely has some like ooh, little spooky.
Yeah, what's the runtime on this one? It's hour 44. Yeah, dude, it's a perfect length, perfect comedy, tons of fun.
Well, there's the 15-minute longer version, which I actually want to see. You know, I want to see.
I kind of want to find those scenes at least. I don't need to rewatch the whole movie.
I feel like they probably have that couple. You're the two guys. Like, don't be gay, dude. And like we see how they get to the point where they're having sex. Like I bet I'm gonna guess here, but I bet we see a scene with them.
I'm gonna guess we see a little Amy Aerobic backstory where like the
Ah.
rat poison. I don't know, my guess, but
I love that they know exactly what Amy Aerobic is like. No, dude, she was the girl next to the plant. It's like, and she died too. Like they,
and then she got promoted to Palm Tree, and now she's now the new Amy Aerobics.
yeah, like who would know that? Like you're that big of a freak that you like study.
Well, it's clearly like if you're doing aerobics class, you're very healthy. So it's like, oh, the girl by the palm tree died, and then she got promoted to the palm tree. Then Amy Aerobics died, and then she became the new Amy Aerobics. So like, I think she actually killed those two people, even though she's not the killer in this.
Maybe.
Like that's another thing they could have done.
Yeah, you're right. That could be like a little spin-off thing. But Brittany Daniel, yeah, I'd like to see more of her, so put her in.
You know what I'm saying though? Like she got promoted
Oh
twice
yeah,
because two people died.
yeah. Like
Like,
there's
come on.
clearly something going on there. Yeah.
She died of rat poisoning, and oh, what was it? Like, what did she say? Like, oh, she actually accidentally ate some rat poison. Like, no one
Yeah.
accidentally eats rat poison. Oh, so good.
All right, so let me ask you then this: do you have a favorite character?
Well, I mean, I love Putman, but obviously, like, Lars. Lars is the best.
Yeah, I think Lars is my favorite too. And it's good that Kevin Heffernan or whatever he got, you know, because he was like the asshole in Super Troopers. He was Farva, so it's like, all right, you get to play the good guy in this one, sort of thing, which I like that.
Yeah, and he like it's such a better role. Like, it's more fun for him. I don't know. Like, Farva, he's an idiot. This one, he's just more goofy and fun and loving. But I love, I love the what happened to the hot tub? What do you think happened to the hot tub? There's a killer.
Oh my god, dude, that one line when he's like, "It's not a party till someone breaks the hot tub." It's like, what? What does that mean?
I've never heard that, but I
No.
guess so. I guess that
Uh,
holds water for sure.
oh, but
Ooh, no pun.
Kevin Pfeffer, yeah, I thought Lars was the funniest dude, just because like all of his hippie stuff, and but when he like sucks in his gut and he goes under the bed, and she's like, "Why don't you do that all the time?" And he's just like, "What is
Is
that, like a
that, is
fat
that a fat
joke?"
joke?
Dude, it's so funny. And also, Eric, say it.
Pride of Connecticut? Who?
Kevin Pfeffernan, West Haven,
No way!
West Haven, Connecticut, baby.
Lars is West Haven? Hell yeah, dude. That's in my stomping grounds, dude. Favre's and Lars is from Connecticut. Love it.
Farves and Larves. Yeah, his mother is the West Haven treasurer. Ooh.
Gonna have to stop by the treasury office soon.
Say like, hey, your son's really funny. And then
And then walk away.
his grandfather was the mayor of West Haven.
That's pretty cool.
There you go, Eric.
That is very cool. The saddest part about this movie is that Bill Paxton's not here anymore. Love Bill Paxton.
Yeah, I know.
That was a bummer.
He really was amazing, dude. It's so crazy. Like he went from Titanic, and then a couple years later, he's like, "Yeah, Best Picture winner." Like, I'll do this fucking fun movie. Like, why not? Like, so like I love
Yeah,
that.
dude.
He
Exactly.
goes from Titanic to this, but it feels like he wanted to do this. It wasn't like this was a, you know, oh, I got to do this comedy. It's like, nah, dude, I want to do this comedy. You know?
I'm sure they talked to him. Hey, we're like new actors. We're like we just had a big hit, and we had Brian Cox. Obviously, he's another big actor, and so we would really love you to play this like Jimmy Buffett like character. He's not in it a ton, but he's in it quite a bit for a lot of scenes.
Oh my god, I can't get the song out of my head that he sings. It's like, there's a little place where the sun goes down, pours himself a shot of tequila. Like, it's a good song.
Well, it's like Jimmy Buffett songs, but like really alcohol based.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Buffett's like, yeah, I'm on an island drinking a little bit. Like he's like, no, we wake up in the morning and immediately get drunk. Like those are Coconut Pete songs.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe Jimmy Buffett is as rich as he is, dude. It makes no sense.
I mean, I respect him. I know like parrot heads and whatnot. I've met a few of them, and I'm like, how? How do you really listen to this music and like love it? It's
Yeah.
like I get it though. I get it.
I will say there's one thing about Jimmy Buffett really quick, and then before we wrap up here. But you remember Margaritaville in Canton, Connecticut? There used to be a restaurant there where I think it's Green Papaya is there now, but it was called Margaritaville, and Jimmy Buffett sued them, and they went out of business.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's his copyrighted word.
I
Well,
guess.
you don't see me opening up a Denny's. Like I'm not opening up a that's the same. He has a restaurant called Margaritaville too. It's not just a song.
No, I think this. I don't know. It was an independently owned
Oh, was it
restaurant.
before?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe these guys are the assholes in the situation, but
I've been to a couple Margaritavilles. I went to the one in I believe Universal, and I've been to the one at Mohegan Sun. I think that one's closed now. Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like it's Chili's, but they just play Margaritaville.
Yeah, and there's like a giant margarita like pitcher thing, and it's just it's like a Chili's meets like a margarita Rainforest Cafe.
Oh God! Like, what are we doing?
Like I said, man, I respect the man. I respect it. Like I can't go to one of his shows and be like, this is weird. Like like, cheeseburger in paradise, cheeseburger there. I said it twice.
Yeah.
Like that's all his songs if you listen to him.
He's almost like the original TikTok star. It's like, how did he get so famous? It's like he's saying about cheeseburgers and stuff. It's like, yeah.
Cheeseburgers and margaritas.
It's like, and now he's a billionaire. It's like, what?
Yeah.
No, I feel like in the 70s, people would be like, are you serious? Like, that guy's a billionaire? It's just like, you say that about like TikTok stars. Right? You're like, that thing is a billionaire?
Yeah, no, for real.
But anyways.
For real.
Well, Eric, what do you say you spin the wheel?
Let's spin that wheel. Spinning. Oh, man. Another zany film, Eight-Legged Freaks.
Whew, we're just going to crazy town.
Crazy wheel this time.
You've seen that movie, right?
God, I barely remember. I just remember Arquette's in it. That's pretty much it.
It's got your boy David Arquette. I think Elizabeth Shue's in it. I really feel like she is. I could be wrong. She's one of my childhood crushes. But anyways.
Well, I was just going to say Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year. Have you checked out New Year's Rockin' Eve? It's actually New Year's Eve right now. I know 5 artists on the 30 New Year's Rockin' Eve artists.
I'm saying this 100% genuinely. I'd rather break my pinky than watch New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Really? It's fine to have on in the background, dude.
But anyways, thank you very much, everybody, for listening in today to our podcast on Club Dread. We will see you guys all next week with Eight-Legged Freaks.
Woo!